Welcome to the garden shop. I want to just show you now how to grow one of our range of herbs that we have. And in this one it's the thyme, or Thymus vulgaris. So that name, Thymus vulgaris, is just the Latin name meaning common thyme. So what you get here in is our packet is a kind of a grease-proof cardboard packet, and then inside that is a Ziploc waterproof bag with our seeds inside here. So if we just go back to the packaging, then you can see on it that it has obviously the name, the quantity, a little image of the seed, and at the very bottom here the sowing instructions with a link to our website, which will give you a breakdown on exactly how to sow the seed, how to transplant and care for the plants as they grow. And as well as that, we have up on the corner here is a barcode which allows you to scan using your iPhone or smartphone, or I think even tablets, and you can there log on to the website and again find all the instructions you need on how to sow the seeds. So what I want to do now is to show you the first step in growing thyme, and that is sowing the seeds. So the best thing to do is to sow your seeds into a seed tray similar to this here. What I have here is a 24 cell seed tray, and we want to just fill it to the top with a soil mix of, we have a general compost in here mixed with 1 part general compost and 1 part perlite. And again, the herb that we're talking about here is thyme, which is obviously a Mediterranean herb, and generally you'll find all your Mediterranean herbs like a well drained soil, and adding perlite to a compost improves drainage. So that's why we've done that. So I'm just going to keep taking it out here and just filling this seed tray. So basically you just want to overfill your seed tray, which you can see here it is, and then just run your hand across the top, or you can use, people use rulers or pieces of wood, so anything at all, and you want to just level off the top of the seed tray. So this compost has some organic pieces in it, little bits of straw. So it's a general compost. You can also, if you want, use a more finer compost, such as a potting compost. And then you won't have all these larger pieces in it, which would probably be better for a very fine seed such as thyme that we're going to sow today. So that's it ready. I just give it a little tap down. No need to push it down with your hands. Just tap down the sides like that. So it needs a little bit more added to it there. The reason you don't push it down with your hands is because you'll be pushing all the air out of the soil, and then doing that you're disproving the drainage of the soil. You're making the drainage of the soil worse by pushing it down with your hand. So that's ready now. What we want to do now is to sow the seed, and again the best time to sow thyme would be early spring. And with the aim that you will sow, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to sow half of this tray here to this point here with thyme, and so the day that we sow the seed, maybe around the middle of February, and then maybe 4 weeks later the seedlings should have emerged, and at that point you will transplant them on into a larger pot. So what we'll show you now is I'm just going to take out these seeds, and you'll see that they're obviously very, very fine. Okay. Just going to pour these out into my hand. If you can see them, they're quite small, rounded so that they will roll quite a bit as well. Okay, so there's quite a few there in my hand now. And with this size of seed, there's no point being overly particular about how many you put into each cell. So what we're going to do now is basically broadcast sow them, which is just to scatter them really, or just sprinkle them into the punnets. So without really being too precise on it, we're aiming for about 5 or 7 seeds per punnet, or per cell really. That's the aim anyway. And you'll find also with thyme seeds, they don't necessarily need to be covered over. They like to have light to germinate. So with most other seeds, you would generally now add a little bit of soil to the surface. But with thyme, you don't need to do that. You can just go straight ahead and give them a good soaking in. So we have here is a pressure sprayer, which just has water in it, and it's just going to give a really good soaking to the compost. and the initial watering is quite important, obviously, because the compost is so dry. It's the first time that it will have been watered, so it will need to be given a very good soakage. You can just see the whiteness there is the actual perlite rock, which is kind of been washed clean of the compost, so that's all that is. So I'm just going to sow half this punnet, or half this seed tray today. The other half I will sow later with a similar herb to thyme, which is chamomile, which we'll be sowing at a later date. Whenever you're doing any sowing, it's always recommended to have a label and put the name and the date down. And in this case, I'm just going to leave it on this side of the seed tray. So now that that is sown, the seed is sown, the water has been added. I'm just going to add now is the propagation lid, which we have here. The benefit of the propagation lid, it's a requirement for seeds like thyme, and it just helps to increase air temperature and also the soil temperature. So what we want to do now is wait maybe 3 to 4 weeks for the seedlings to emerge, and then we can remove the seed tray lid. Okay, and once the seedlings have emerged, even when they're quite small, you just want to basically prick out the very small seedlings and put them into a larger pot. This is a 9 centimeter pot. So what you want to do is allow the seedlings to emerge, and then give them about 4 weeks, and then add fresh compost to your 9 centimeter pots, and then transplant your seedlings in here. So that's what we'll be doing. Once these seedlings have grown, we'll shoot another video showing you exactly the process involved in transplanting your thyme seedlings. Following the transplanting into this, you will then transplant them a third time out into the garden, and there's two requirements for thyme that they must have, and that's a lot of sunlight and a lot of space, and then you'll have a very healthy crop. And again, obviously thyme is not just used for culinary purposes. Obviously you can use it with the likes of chicken and other meats, but it's also very good as a lawn alternative, and has a very attractive flower in spring. So really the thyme itself is a very useful seed. If you don't want to use this 24 cell seed tray and lid, the alternative option would be to go for a large dome propagator, which has the same features as the seed tray and plant cells there. So that's it, that's how you sow the thyme seed. Again, all of these products are available on thegardenshop.ie.